Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? This is Amanda Santos from the channel Amanda Santos BR. If you're new here, welcome. I'm a Brazilian living in the Canary Islands, and today I'm going to share with you an incredible trip I took to the beautiful city of Porto, Portugal in March 2023. I'll show you all the details of this exciting adventure for me. So get ready to join me on this journey. Shall we? Portugal always makes me feel like I'm at my grandmother's house. It has such a familiar and welcoming energy that embraces me as soon as I arrive. The cobblestone streets, the historic buildings, and an atmosphere that gives me a sense of nostalgia and belonging. It's amazing how a place can make us feel so at home even when we're miles away. The hotel where I stayed reflected this vibe perfectly. Although it was small, it was incredibly cozy and functional. The staff were friendly and always ready to help, making the stay even more pleasant. I was especially impressed by the hotel gym. It was surprisingly well equipped, with all the necessary machines for a decent workout. It was great to maintain my exercise routine even while away from home. After a good workout, I couldn't resist the temptation to visit the nearest Brazilian restaurant. Every Brazilian will understand. Where I live in Spain, there aren't any Brazilian restaurants. So when I visit Portugal, I take the opportunity to indulge in our cuisine. Luckily, Porto has plenty of delicious options. It's wonderful to reconnect with my roots through food. The streets of Porto are truly stunning. The architecture is a spectacle in itself. As I walked through the streets, admiring the historic buildings and their unique architectural details, I felt completely enchanted by the city. Every building seemed to tell a story, and the atmosphere was simply magical. Then, as I turned a corner, I heard a familiar tune. A voice, an accent. I stopped to listen more closely and realized it was a musician from Pernambuco, the same state as me in Brazil, performing quality music on the streets of Porto. It was incredibly moving to hear music from my homeland like that, out of the blue. He was also thrilled to see me wearing a shirt with the Pernambuco flag. What an amazing surprise! Feeling such a strong connection in such a distant place filled me with joy and nostalgia.
Sobre o claro da vida, a imagem de uma canção é como o céu numa reza, marco de solidão, a energia dos doidos, motor da imaginação. Não me peça que eu mate o moleque que mora comigo, ele é feito de barra, meu lado bonito é meu lado palhaço, meu lado doído. Não me peça que eu mate o moleque que mora comigo, ele é feito de barra, meu lado bonito é meu lado palhaço, meu lado doído. Girumbabá, gererê, a mim sim dada, aqui com você. Girumbabá, gererê, a mim sim dada, aqui com você. E sim, Holanda negão, como anda nos braços da noite, curtindo o prazer, só no amanhecer. O galo que vai cantar, cocoroca.
He was playing Leque Molek, a song by Alceu Valença, also from Pernambuco like us, from the self-titled album released in 1987, the same year I was born. My heart feels so warm when life arranges these moments. After this emotional encounter, I headed to Mercado do Bolhão for another touching reunion with dear friends who are also from Olinda and now live here. Mercado do Bolhão is one of Porto's most iconic spots, known for its neoclassical architecture and vibrant atmosphere. Opened in 1914, it's a place where you can find everything: fresh fruits, fish, flowers, crafts, and much more. Strolling through its stalls is a unique experience that engages all the senses. Reuniting with my friends in such a special place made the day even more perfect. We shared stories, laughter, and took the opportunity to enjoy some local delicacies. It's always wonderful to be surrounded by loved ones, especially when you're far from home. These moments warm the heart and remind us of the value of the connections we make throughout life. I loved exploring the market and savoring the incredibly delicious fruits, with vibrant colors and irresistible aromas. It's one of my favorite places in the city. Tasting those freshly cut fruits is an unforgettable experience. The flavor combinations are truly divine. Pure delight. Speaking of favorite places, one of the most beautiful sights, in my opinion, is watching the sunset from Dom Luis First Bridge. The bridge is one of Porto's most iconic landmarks, designed by Belgian engineer Théophile Seyrig, a partner of Gustave Eiffel. Inaugurated in 1886, the two-level metal bridge connects Porto to Villanova de Gaia over the Douro River. Walking across it is a unique experience, especially at dusk when the sun sets on the horizon, painting the city in golden and reddish hues. The panoramic view of the river, the waterfront, and the port wine cellars is simply breathtaking. It's the perfect spot to soak in the beauty of the city and be enveloped by the magical atmosphere that only Porto offers. As expected during this time of year in Porto, the morning started with heavy rain. The weather in the city during March is quite unpredictable, with days alternating between sunshine and intense showers. Temperatures are mild, ranging from 9 degrees Celsius to 17 degrees Celsius, but frequent rain is common. The best time to visit Porto is between May and September, when the weather is more stable and temperatures are higher, ideal for outdoor activities and enjoying nearby beaches. Even with the rain, the moments of this trip have been incredibly emotional and enriching. I took advantage of the chill to squeeze in a workout. The next day, the sun finally came out, and I was able to walk to the cable car to enjoy some beautiful views. From the cable car, the city looks even more magical. The landscapes are breathtaking, with the Douro River winding between the hills and the orange rooftops of the old houses. It's a unique perspective that offers a new angle of the city, revealing details that often go unnoticed at street level. As I walked through the streets afterward, I came across a Russian goods store. Some items I recognized, while others I had never seen before. Very interesting. I imagine the Russian community here is quite large. There were even books in Russian for all ages. It was a pleasant surprise to discover this cultural diversity in Porto, which makes the city even richer and more fascinating. Next, I visited the Mercado Ferreira Borges, a historic building with 19th century metal architecture that now houses the Hard Club, a cultural space for musical events and exhibitions. From there, I hopped on a double-decker bus for a tour of the city all the way to the sea. Everything was so beautiful. Along the way, I admired significant landmarks of Porto's history, including monuments, squares, and historic buildings that tell the city's rich story. Arriving at the sea was breathtaking, with views of the Atlantic Ocean and the beaches stretching along the coast. This journey allowed me to connect even more with the city and understand its historical and cultural significance. The tour ended in Ribeira, one of Porto's oldest and most charming neighborhoods. Located on the banks of the Douro River, Ribeira is known for its narrow, winding streets, colorful houses, and vibrant atmosphere. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and represents the historical heart of the city. The cafe and restaurant terraces along the riverside are perfect for relaxing and taking in the stunning views of the river and its bridges. Walking through Ribeira feels like stepping back in time, with history and culture pulsating in every corner. Interestingly, in my hometown of Olinda, there is also a Ribeira, but ours is located atop a hill, unlike here. While Porto's Ribeira stretches along the riverbanks, Olinda's Ribeira offers panoramic views of the sea and surrounding landscapes. This coincidence made me reflect on the similarities and differences between the two places, both steeped in history and culture. It was fascinating to see how the same name can encompass such distinct but equally enchanting experiences. Afterward, I decided to take a boat ride along the Douro River to see the city from another perspective. Aboard a traditional boat, I sailed through the calm waters of the river, feeling the fresh breeze on my face. The view of the city from the river is simply stunning. with colorful houses stacked on the hillsides and historic landmarks standing out on the horizon. From the boat, Porto reveals a special magic that can only be appreciated this way. During the ride, I admired the famous bridges connecting Porto to Vila Nova de Gaia, each with its unique architecture and history. The Dom Luís I Bridge, which I've already mentioned, is even more impressive seen from below, with its imposing metal structure. I also passed by the Arabida Bridge, known for its large concrete arch, and the Maria Pia Bridge, designed by Gustave Eiffel. Each bridge tells a part of the city's story and adds a unique charm to the Douro River landscape. Beyond the bridges, the boat ride offers a privileged view of the wine cellars in Vila Nova de Gaia, where the famous port wines are stored. The riverbanks are full of life, with restaurants, cafes, and people enjoying the welcoming atmosphere. Seeing the city from this angle made me appreciate it even more, revealing details only visible from the water. It was an unforgettable experience that added even more magic to my trip. Along the way, I passed by the impressive Porto City Hall, which caught my attention with its grandeur and architectural beauty. Located on Avenida dos Aliados, the building is a significant landmark in the city's urban landscape. Its construction began in 1920, but was only completed in 1957. The building is made of granite and features a central tower 70 meters high, crowned by a carillon of bells. The facade is richly decorated with sculptures and ornamental elements representing Porto's history and culture. Taking advantage of being in Portugal, I decided to make a feijoada. I managed to find the ingredients with the help of my friends. Feijoada is one of the most traditional dishes in Brazilian cuisine, a rich stew made with black beans and a variety of pork cuts, such as sausage, ribs, and dried meat. Everything is cooked slowly so the flavors blend perfectly. It is typically served with white rice, farofa, sautéed collard greens, and sliced oranges. I love cooking, and even more so, cooking for people I care about. Having lived outside Brazil for so long, I always try to adapt recipes with locally available ingredients. Brazilian cuisine is very rich and diverse, and mixing influences is highly welcomed in our culture. On my last day, I had a wonderful experience. I started the day without skipping my workout. I love being able to maintain my routine even while traveling. I took the chance to enjoy a little more Brazilian food. Everything was irresistible. Later, I met up with my friends to make the most of the city one last time. They promised to take me to the best pastel de nata in the region, and it truly was delicious. Pastel de Belém is a traditional Portuguese pastry originating from the Belém neighborhood in Lisbon. It is a special custard tart made with crispy puff pastry and a creamy filling of egg yolks, sugar, and milk. It's a delicacy loved by both locals and tourists, serving as a symbol of Portuguese gastronomy. From the shop window, you could already admire the process of making this culinary wonder. I absolutely loved it.
Eita! Sou de Pernambuco, eu sou Leão do Norte. Leão do Norte.
Walking through the streets, it's impossible not to feel the strong influence of Brazilian culture here in Porto. I feel like I'm in a little piece of Pernambuco, with that contagious and spontaneous joy that only our people have, and I found it here. It was an incredible experience. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep up with the next videos. Remember, there's content in Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, Russian, and English. Sending you lots of love, and see you on the next adventure. Bye-bye.
No jardim olhei, o mal me quer. Eu falei, primeiro amor de menino, e vai chegando o amanhecer. Veio a mensagem zodiacal e o relógio diz que eu serei feliz, sempre feliz. Como será amanhã? Responda quem sou. quiser. Como será? Como será o amanhã? Responda quem